So Tumelo, thank you very much for making time to share your insights into the future of leadership.
Thank you, Doug.
But before we walk into the future, please tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up?
So for my sins and for what I really appreciate, I was born in Kronstadt in the northern Free State, and my parents later on then moved to Kwakwa in the eastern Free State, which is nearer to most people know Clarence, or they know Golden Gate Game Reserve. So that's near home, Kwakwa. I grew up there. Grew up in a culture of learning, of studying, where the then late Dr. T.K. Mopedi, who was the Prime Minister of Kwakwa as a Bantustan, built schools and built education as a foundation for what people in Kwakwa and people who come to Kwakwa to get education. I later on then moved on to study in Bloemfontein at St. Andrew's School for Boys, and I went to the University of the Free State, where my view was to initially school was not the priority. I wanted to play rugby, and I wanted to play for the Springboks, but injuries came through and I couldn't carry on. So I then went down to then study accounting with the hope of being a chartered accountant. But my heart and passion has always been in marketing. But because, when you are young and you're Black in those days, your parents find a job that will give you an office space where you can get income, and anything else that didn't represent that was frowned upon. So marketing was not the coolest thing. Either you are a doctor, a CA, or you are an engineer or a lawyer. And I don't want to be any of those. I wanted to be a marketer. But my parents said, you know what, you got 6 A's in matric. You've got to do something that's more, that's going to give you something to live on. So I chose accounting, but later in life, I went back to my first love of marketing.
And Tumelo, tell us who inspired you in your early days?
So initially, like I said, when I wanted to do accounting, it was just for money, because I came from a not so wealthy background. My goal was to make sure me and my children don't get poor. So accounting was just to make money, because being a CA was to make money. But in the marketing fraternity, when I was studying at varsity in my second year, I came across Tebe Ikalafeng. That's who gave me the biggest motivation and inspiration to push forth and be a marketer. Why? Because Tebe did accounting at Wits, stopped his accounting, moved to the US to do marketing, and later on got an MBA in that. Came back and became one of the dominant brand experts and marketers who ran Nike Africa. And that's a person that really, really, really inspired me. And the one thing that inspired me about Tebe Kalafeng was he had a website with his name and surname. That for me intrigued me to see a person with Tebe at ikalafeng.com, and I saw Tumelo at Chaka.com. I think that was for me the biggest fuel and fire that got me to say, that's a person I want to be like, that's a person I would like to be mentored by, and that's a person I would like to surpass what he has achieved to build onto the next generation.
Now, Tumelo, you're leading a very impressive career. You've been working with some of the biggest brands on the continent. You have been on the global stage. Looking back over your career, would you say there was a turning point, or maybe a number of turning points?
I think there were a few turning points, Doc. The first one, I would say, in fact, yeah, the first one was when I couldn't go to UCT and chose to go to the University of the Free State to play rugby. That for me was the turning point, because I always wonder if I'd gone to Cape Town, would things have turned different for me? But I think the rigor I got at the University of the Free State to be part of the SRC changed my view as a leader, and how I relate to people, and how do I persuade people and influence people to see things my way, or to see the vision that I'm putting forth. So that was one. The second part is when I finished my degree to go on to do my honors, I was involved in a car accident, and I also just opened my own business. where I didn't get any injuries except head injuries, where I lost memory. That again was a big turning point because now I had to move away from my first love, from what I thought would save me from poverty, which was being a chartered accountant, to now saying, what do I do with my life? And that gave me the space and openness to go back to my first love, which is marketing, which is for me now commercial marketing. Is how do I go out there and build brands, market products that impact profit. And that gave me the time and chance to now build a marketing career that I think also became different to a person who worked for Unilever or for SAB. I had to now find a way to be creative in the world of marketing, to build a distinctive personal brand in that area that could then be able to place me either toe to toe or above those that had working experience from SAB Unilever. I think those two were my turning points. And the third one is when I joined Gibbs. When I joined Gibbs as a PDBA student, that changed the way I think, because the people I've met in the room inspired me so much in terms of the debates we had and the type of conversations we were having about now and the future. I think those three areas were what changed me going, because being at Gibbs now helped me to dream and be able to make going global, effect and something that can happen in the now. And as I travel or I talk abroad or I attend conferences or I even do business with people abroad, it's a Gibbs energy that makes me thrive and I can compete globally.
And Tumelo, what would you say is driving you today?
Today, what is driving me is to leave a legacy that will help somebody who comes from the background that I come from a village, to see that it is possible. Without me having to push every single day, it means that I am depriving somebody. Doc, in fact, in simple terms, I believe that the purpose I'm put here on earth is to do as much as I can, achieve a lot of stuff, so that somebody in a village can see that it is possible.
Looking into the future, and I know it's a big question, but what does the future of leadership mean to you?
I think the future of leadership for me, it's a leader that is able to be vulnerable in themselves, to be able to give space for others to be who they need to be in their journey. I believe that the leaders of today, tomorrow, and definitely for the more foreseeable future is the leader who is able to lead without fearing losing anything. Is a leader who can give to others to help them grow, is to give to others to enable them to grow, is to give to others to let them thrive and be who they need to be. I think we live in a world where leadership is more concerned about self-gain. What am I going to gain? And everybody is leading with strategy. You lead to help others so they can help you to get somewhere. I think, in short, the future of leadership is leadership that is not based on personal growth strategy. Is leading on the basis that you are leading to enhance others and make them better.
And Tumelo, what have you learned from your own journey that you consider most important for building future leaders? In other words, what is it we have to do more to enable and develop future leaders and more Tumelos?
I think the one thing is, let's mentor each one, teach one. I think if leaders can avail themselves for genuine mentorship and for mentees to also be committed to being mentored, because it's a two-way street. In fact, one of my mentors made a very profound analogy to say mentorship is like a friendship. You choose who you want to be friends with. So when you choose somebody as a mentee or a mentor, it's somebody you would like to be friends with for the long run. So I think what is important for me and what I've learned in my own journey is that let's be open to mentor others, and let's mentor them genuinely, and let those who are being mentored have the genuine interest as well to also contribute to that relationship. To go forward in the future and build leaders, we have to be obsessed about mentorship.
Now, Tumelo, these are challenging times as the world is stumbling from one crisis into the next. What is your advice for future leaders in terms of challenges? What are some of the biggest challenges they should expect to encounter and hopefully overcome in their career?
I think it's a balance of two things, of shared values and of winning. It's having to master the art of you having to win as a personal brand or as a, and your winning being at the expense of your values. So if you look at what's been happening in the last 10 years in our own country with state capture and all these things that are all linked to ethical issues, is that the biggest challenges for leaders is how do you still remain ethical. I was saying the biggest challenge now is how do leaders become ethical? Because ethics is very key now, and it's easier to stray from being ethical than to be ethical. So for me, it's the balance of strong values and winning. Winning is just being able to get those profits and to get companies to grow exponentially, but that at times comes at the expense of strong values. And if ever leaders are confused between strong values and winning, choose strong values, because that will keep you in check for the long term, especially in this ethical dilemma world that we're living in.
And Tumelo, if you were to design a curriculum for future leaders, what are some of the key skills you would want to factor in and maybe teach?
I would focus more on the soft skills. The world is obsessed around the hard facts. Can leaders give us necessary profitability? Can we be able to shine at year end when we're now announcing our annual reports? I would focus my curriculum on soft skills, on how do leaders lead to connect with employees? How do leaders help others to live a very ethical life? How do leaders help others to lead and mentor as they move forward? I would like to see a world where each one is teaching one, each one is mentoring one, each one is finding space to be able to then lead others to their own destiny. So my view is, if I had to build a school, if I had to run a curriculum, is that where I'm building leaders that are able to be vulnerable and be able to make leaders out of everybody that is following them.
Now, Tumelo, as a mentor to so many future leaders, can you maybe share a success story or two where you mentored an upcoming leader and that person took your advice to heart?
Well, I've got a few, but I'll name two people that I've been able to have an encounter with. It's a mentorship view, because I always view it as a friendship. But one is a young man called Mpo Jasoni. Mpo is for me, he's the upcoming, if not the thought lead around youth marketing and sponsorship in the country. He's gonna give him a year or two, he'll be one of the top in the market. And the advice I gave him was based on the advice that Tebe Kalefeng once gave me of the hygiene triangle, to say there's this big triangle cut into three elements. The bottom, which is the big base, is the hygiene. Hygiene is, if you smell, people will tell you. But if you don't smell and you smell nice, people won't tell you. Get enough qualification to get you in the room so that nobody questions you why you are there. The middle part is evidence. Do great work, that the qualifications you've got, MBA, PhD, will then be able to support the work that you're doing. And then the top part is claim. When you've done great work with great hygiene, you can make a claim of whoever you are, best youth marketer in the country, or whatever claim that you must make. And important to get to heart. Important now doing his MBA here at Gibbs, he's finishing it off, and I'm seeing him progress in his career in a way that, as we continue to discuss and mentor each other in terms of giving each other advice, he's doing great. Secondly is a lady called Busisiwe. Busisiwe is Mavunga is, to me, one of the best payments experts in the country. She works for Showmax, also currently doing her MBA at Gibbs. And we had a similar discussion to say all you need in everything else is just how your brand, from an educational perspective, can support the work that you've done. And I've seen them grow tremendously. And I know in the next coming year or two, they'll be where they deserve to be and should be. And those to me have been success stories of mentees that I've engaged with. And it's the power of taking what you've learned from your mentors and taking down to your mentees.
Now, Tumelo, you mentioned one of your mentors and role models. Are there any other role models of leadership that you have encountered during your career and that you would recommend future leaders should learn from?
Mzamo Masito, or in fact, let me just correct myself, Dr. Mzamo Masito. I think Mzamo is a phenomenal case study story of somebody who has come from the lowest of the lowest in Cape Town, in his hometown, to being a global phenomenon. But moreover, Mzamo is authentic. Mzamo is real. Mzamo, what you see is what you get. And when you sit with Mzamo, you feel that you don't feel like you're sitting with somebody who is a global phenomenon. He makes you feel at home, at ease, and he's real in giving you proper, solid advice. Mzamo, that doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what you need to hear. And I think for me, he's also one leader that people should look at as a role model and study. And if you can look at Mzamo's authenticity, I think that will give you a great start to being who you need to be in the world. He says, God gives you talents, and your role is to give God back God rewards you with talents. Your reward to God is to that talent work on this world. And that's what I've learned from him, is that I've got talents and my job is to make them work as my reward back to God.
Thank you. Now, Tumelo, how can our listeners connect with you and where should they follow you?
If they want to engage me, you can be on LinkedIn, Tumelo Chaka. You can be at Instagram at I am Dr. Tumelo Chaka, or even on Facebook, you can find me there as Tumelo Chaka.
And last but not least, Tumelo, what is your message to the millions of learners out there who are looking to finish school, to start a career? What are maybe one or two success principles that they should keep in mind?
One is finishing a degree is a sign that you can finish something. Don't, work hard, try get distinctions, and that's what the world says. But I'm saying to just be consistent in being able to finish. That consistency shows whoever needs to employ you or whoever is to engage with you from a professional basis that you are able to start and finish stuff. Secondly is don't stop after your first qualification. Be eager to learn, whether it's with qualification or education. And those are two different things. Qualification is getting a degree that then you can put on the wall. Education is learning in and out of the classroom where you can be able to grow as a leader. But thirdly is, as you grow and learn, grow with others. Because as you engage people and have robust debates and communication, you're able to grow beyond just a qualification. But the last one, Prof, is Doc, look for mentors that can lead you and share with you. Because a mentor can give you what they learned in 20 years and make it short for you for 2 years. Don't be scared to ask. Getting a mentor is a matter of asking. The worst they can say is, I'm busy. But nothing has changed in your life. But if they say yes, and they take you on the journey, a lot can change for you.
Tumelo, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your wisdom into the future of leadership and for inspiring so many future leaders.
Thank you, Doc. And I hope that everything works for everybody, because I live in a world where I believe all works for the good of those who serve the Lord. Whoever the Lord is to you, be ready and be prepared. Things will work out for you.